Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin promptly in 5 minutes. We kindly ask that you take your seats and silence all electronic devices. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin promptly in 5 minutes. We kindly ask that you take your seats and silence all electronic devices. Thank you.
Make sure the girls see, Chris. Make sure the girls see the band's coming.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commanding General, 1st Marine Division, Major General Ronald L. Bailey, welcome to the Montford Point Marines Congressional Gold Medal presentation. This afternoon, on behalf of the Commandant of the Marine Corps, General James F. Amos, Major General Bailey will present the Congressional Gold Medal to surviving original Montford Point Marines. In recognition of this event, the 1st Marine Division Band will perform under the direction of the band officer, Chief Warrant Officer 3, Edward M. Hayes, and is led on the march by the drum major, Gunnery Sergeant Michael Flanagan. They will perform 2 musical selections in honor of our veteran Marines. Their first selection, America, is written by John Calif, a recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Merit Award from Northwestern University. The composer is originally from Aberdeen, South Dakota, and once worked for the U.S. Army Band in the 1950s. In addition to an exceptional amount of television shows and movies, he has also written thousands of songs for the music education field. Please enjoy John Calif's medley of patriotic American tunes, simply titled America. In 2003, our next selection was named the 44th greatest song of all time. This was in no small part to Ray Charles's 1960 recording that brought the peace to America's attention. Featuring Sergeant Wiley on trumpet and our very own drumline, please enjoy Georgia's official state song, Georgia on My Mind. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the invocation given by Chaplain Pease, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy.
Let us pray. Lord, in the spirit of and in tribute to the Montford Point Marines, many of whom gave it all, their very lives, that we might be here today, give us courage to stand up and be counted, to stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves, to stand up for ourselves when it's needful for us to do so. Let us fear nothing, no thing, and no one, more than we revere you. Let us serve no other God before you. Let us seek no other peace but the peace which is yours, and make us its instruments, opening our eyes and our ears and our hearts and our minds, that we may always know what work of peace you call us to do. Lord, be with and for the Montford Point Marines and their families, and indeed all Marines and Marine families, as they continue to serve you and our nation faithfully, to care for those around them, and truly to make the world a better place for all people. Hear our prayer, O Lord. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Now taking his position is the Commanding General of the 1st Marine Division, Major General Bailey. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the March On of the Colors and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, a letter from the President of the United States honoring the legacy of the Montford Point Marines on their 69th anniversary. Almost 7 decades ago, as our nation was at war, more than 20,000 African American men enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. After completing arduous and segregated basic training at Montford Point Camp, many of these Marines served with distinction during a number of World War II's bloodiest struggles. Some made the ultimate sacrifice in these battles. Others continued their service in Korea and Vietnam. Despite being denied many basic rights, the Montford Point Marines committed to serve our country with selfless patriotism. Choosing to put their lives on the line, these men helped advance civil rights and influenced President Harry Truman's decision to desegregate the armed forces in 1948. Embodying the Marine Corps motto of Semper Fidelis, always faithful, these heroes paved the way for future generations of warriors, regardless of background, to serve in the finest military the world has ever known. On behalf of a grateful nation, I thank you for your service and for your contributions to the cause of freedom at home and around the world. May God bless our men and women in uniform, and may God bless the United States of America. Signed, Barack Obama, 44th President of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for honors to the Commanding General of 1st Marine Division, Major General Ronald L. Bailey. Thank you. Please be seated. At this time, Major General Bailey will present the Congressional Gold Medal to our veteran Montford Point Marines on behalf of the Commandant of the Marine Corps, General James F. Amos, who sends the following message. I would like to congratulate the Montford Point Marines on the Congressional Gold Medal minted in their honor. This recognition is long overdue and richly deserved. By breaking the color barrier in 1942, the Montford Point Marines became part of the rich legacy of our Corps. They answered our nation's call despite our society being deeply divided along racial lines. As such, their contributions went largely unrecognized, and many times were not given the respect and recognition they deserved as Marines, as Americans, and as patriots. To me, they were heroic for 2 reasons. They fought against the enemy during World War II, while they also fought for their civil rights and the respect of their fellow Americans. It is fitting that we, as Americans, honor their selfless service and sacrifice with the Congressional Gold Medal and fully embrace their storied contributions to the history of our nation at war. Signed, James F. Amos, General, Commandant of the Marine Corps. Lowell E. Arnold, Private First Class, served 1944 to 1945. John Henry Camper, Sergeant, served 1942 to 1945. John Andrew Chavis, First Sergeant, served 1946 to 1968. Asa W. Foster, Jr., Corporal, served 1944 to 1946. Accepting on his father's behalf is his son, Curtis Foster. Naughty L. Gale, Gunnery Sergeant, served 1942 to 1973. Tony Lorenz, Jr., Sergeant, served 1943 to 1946. George A. Mitchell, Master Gunnery Sergeant, served 1943 to 1975. Stanman Robotham Sr., Sergeant, served 1942 to 1947. Jesse Lee Simmons, Gunnery Sergeant, served 1943 to 1946, then reenlisted again in 1951 and served until 1971. Ladies and gentlemen, the original Montford Point Marines. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commanding General of 1st Marine Division, Major General Ronald L. Bailey.
Well, good afternoon. Let me say that I probably need to bring the drum line back up again to get everything all motivated and excited again. But before I say anything, let's give the Marines and our band a round of applause for the great effort. To General Colonies, Mayor Wood of Oceanside, Mayor Glab of Laguna Hills, Mayor Kramer of San Juan Capistrano, Mr. and Ms. Hogan, distinguished guests, Marines and sailors, family and friends. On behalf of the Commandant of the Marine Corps, let me welcome you to this Congressional Gold Medal ceremony, one that honors the legacy and service of the Montford Point Marines and their contribution to the Marine Corps and their wider contribution to American society. On the 27th of June 2012, I had the pleasure of attending the ceremony at the U.S. Capitol. It was in the Visitor Center, where members of the House and Senate spoke in recognition of the Montford Point Marines as they presented them the gold medal. The Honorable Allen West of Florida was one of the speakers. The Honorable Corrine Brown, who was the bill sponsor, Honorable Kay Hagan of North Carolina, and Honorable Richard Burr of North Carolina all spoke of the resolution that was signed by the President on the 23rd of November 2011. This is truly a historic event, an event that in many years and circles had taken decades to get to. The remarks were made by the Honorable Nancy Pelosi, who's the Democratic leader of the House, the Honorable Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader of the Senate, the Honorable Harry Reid, the Majority Leader of the Senate, and the Honorable John Bonner, Speaker of the House. The resolution, as stated by all of those distinguished individuals, and the bill was passed unanimous. It was a unanimous vote in both the House and the Senate. The following day, the Commandant of the Marine Corps presented some 400 medals to the Montford Point Marines, those who came to Washington, D.C. Approximately 100 of those Marines were unable to travel to Washington, D.C., and today we are privileged to present 9 of those medals to those distinguished gentlemen. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give them another round of applause. Let me take this opportunity to make a statement, a personal statement of recognition to our Commandant, General James F. Amos. And ladies and gentlemen, if it was not for General Amos, this day would not be possible. It was his dedication, determination, and leadership that got us to this day today. The many years of hard work and getting recognition for the Montford Point Marines was directly led by our Commandant. The history of America is as big and dramatic as the country itself. It is impossible to think of the United States today without thinking of the various movements and events that were integral parts of our nation. The awarding of the Congressional Gold Medal is one of those events. It raises the awareness of the accomplishments of the Montford Point Marines while celebrating their reception or recipients of the highest honor, the highest civilian honor. Additionally, it increases the understanding of the historical service of the Montford Point Marines and what they have added to our nation. As Marines, preserving our history means a great deal to us. Our history is the standard which we measure our performance by. We study the great battles. We study the great Marines who fought in the touchstone battles of Belleau Woods, Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima, Quezon, San, Desert Storm, Al-Naziriyah, Fallujah, and Marshall, and then analyze what they did to forge the modern Marine Corps history. Marines standing today stand in awe of the accomplishments of previous generations, those generations who fought and sacrificed for the United States around the globe. They gladly shoulder the responsibility to uphold the legacy that they inherited. In President Kennedy's inauguration address, he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." From 1942 to 1949, approximately 20,000 African Americans volunteered to be United States Marines. They took a stand, and their stand achieved great accomplishments. And in doing so, they did a lot for this country. They demonstrated what I call the spirit of patriotism in duty. Duty to the nation when the wider American society did not welcome them and denied them many of their basic rights. They endured racial discrimination and disrespect because of the color of their skin. These men, these heroes, recognized a new time in our history, a new challenge, and the responsibility relevant to that challenge. they realize that duty carries a responsibility, not only to the nation, but to our sons and daughters. Each generation must strive to make it better for the one that follows. It's our country, good or bad or indifferent. Finally, these great men and Marines demonstrated a spirit of patriotism in their sacrifice by putting service above all. And when you talk to any of the Montford Points, they're not bitter, they're not upset, they're not angry. They're just very proud to be United States Marines. General Leonard F. Chapman, Jr., later to become Commandant of the Marine Corps, said in World War II, "The footprints of the Montford Point Marines were left on the beaches of Saipan, Guam, Peleliu, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa. Tides and winds have long ago washed them out into the seas of history. But the chosen few, as they're called, in the field shoes and canvas leggings, also left their mark in the firm concrete of Marine Corps history. And as new generation of Marines learn to march in those footprints, their cadence assumes the proud stride of the men from Montford Point." Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in history when a few brave men stand up to be counted and hold fast against a huge and overwhelming odds, no matter what the outcome. The outcome is that the sacrifices these men made paved the way for a better America. They paved the way for other minorities and all women to be integrated into the Marine Corps. By their sacrifice, they engineered social and cultural change in the Marine Corps that created a lasting impact and has contributed to the success of the Marine Corps today. Let me close with an excerpt from a poem written by Staff Sergeant Glennis A. Harvey, retired, titled Montford Point Remembered. Montford Point Marines, we all stand to salute you for giving without being asked, for doing what was right and true. The opportunity may not come around when we can repay our debt, but let our accomplishments and success make you have no regrets. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Corps, we make Marines win battles and return to society good citizens. The Montford Point Marines did this. They became ambassadors, mayors, and teachers, to name a few. Thank you, Montford Point Marines, for the many, many years of sacrifice, selflessness, and dedication to Corps and country. Thank you, Montford Point Marines, for the great example. Semper Fidelis.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the retiring of the colors. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor the Montford Point Marines, the 1st Marine Division Band will now play "I'll Take the Marines." The song was written in 1998 by Staff Sergeant Vernon Harris, an African-American drum major of the Parris Island Marine Band, to commemorate the more than 20,000 Marines who trained at Camp Montford Point, Jacksonville, North Carolina, and selflessly served in a segregated Marine Corps. We ask all Marines present who were trained at Montford Point stand to be recognized. We respectfully request all others remain seated and silent to honor those absent who gave the ultimate sacrifice and those present whose service created the foundation for today's fully integrated Marine Corps. When the band begins to play Anchors Aweigh and the Marines hymn, we ask then that you please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Commanding General, the Marines, and sailors of the 1st Marine Division, thank you for sharing this special event with us today. You are invited to join us for light refreshments under the blue tent to your right and to take photos in front of the White House. This concludes today's ceremony.
Yep. How you doing? Warm. Absolutely. Yeah, very warm. Yeah, thank you. Wonderful. Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah, way long overdue.
You see what I got here? Oh. No, when did you right after the flag marching.
Good job, man.
Thank you.
It's all good. Bring those chairs too. She doesn't want to walk.